Good morning, everyone. Today is, let me see if I can get this right, January 23rd, 2018. Welcome, I'm Roy Potter, and this is the Potter Expositor live stream edition. No music, no fancy background, just this morning, just kind of sitting and relaxing. Good morning, everyone, as you come in. At least I hope it's a good morning. I have not even checked the news today. I just had to get away from all that nonsense. But I did have a few things I wanted to put out, kind of as a follow-up to the video I put up on YouTube yesterday. And also, if you've noticed on my channel, I've gone ahead and put up the FBI corruption part 1 as the channel trailer, which of course that entire series I did last March or so. So almost a year ago is when I did that series, and I've added to it, as you can see on the playlist on this channel here. In fact, the motto of my channel is true. The intel community is our most dangerous domestic enemy, and it's been proven correct. Everything from subverting the Constitution to pay and play for a small, well, not really a small group of individuals, but a lot of politicians and corporate heads and secret society members being able to take advantage of the whole thing with the Clinton servers and the Clinton Foundation. In other words, this was the intelligence community not only starting wars overseas and overthrowing nations, nation building, etc., overseas, spying on people overseas, supposedly to protect us, right? But now we find out, as we have warned, as Eisenhower warned, as Kennedy warned, as anybody with any intelligence, I don't mean that as a pun, intelligence has warned, that this secret society, the entire intelligence community, but particularly the FBI, because we were led to believe that we could trust it. And that wasn't true. It was all still part of the intelligence community. They spy on Americans without cause. They entrap Americans. And you know, the old entrapment was bad enough. And that's when the idea was not in the mind of the supposed suspect, right, but that they plant it. Well, not only do they still do that, but they fail to investigate real crime, put something together like the World Trade Center bombing in 2000, what was that, 1992, 3, somewhere in there? That kind of thing. Or at the Garland shooting, getting those 2 ISIS guys along with an FBI agent, telling them how to do it and actually going with them to do it. No attempt to stop it. But actually, the FBI created it. Yeah, they grabbed these guys and encouraged them to do that. But the fact of the matter is, it probably would never have happened. And certainly the FBI was not there to arrest them at that point because, well, frankly, folks, and you all know it, you know, I keep hearing these arguments that the FBI, they're really good agents down below. They're great retired agents. My buddy in California talks about that. I'm going to tell you something right now. It's rotten from the top to the bottom. If the agents have been there trying to do a job to get real criminals, okay, maybe. But the fact of the matter is the Bundy case and the Hammond case prove that that's not what's going on. Not to mention the fact that you look at things like the Zarnev brothers. I'm still not convinced they even pulled off the bombing. If you look at my Boston bombing series, you'll see why I say that. There were no pictures of the older Zarnev brother at the finish line with all the cameras there, picking up all those PMCs, those paramilitary guys with the backpacks, supposedly finding Zokar at the second bombing site, which was about, I think, 200-300 yards down from the finish line. I'm not even sure that's a real picture. That might be, in fact, a Photoshop. But that's what I'm just pointing out here is that the FBI isn't just corrupt. It is a criminal organization. Absolutely criminal. And we're seeing that happen right now. Now, I don't say that in a vacuum. I've dealt with the FBI on and on, off and on in my professional career and as a citizen, as an American just trying to get some help. And they're worthless. If they don't get something out of it, whether it's funds or bravado or power, they're really not interested. So, like I said, this is kind of a follow-up to all that I've said. Kennedy was right. Not just the CIA, though, needs to be blown into 1,000 pieces. The entire IC does. Let it go back to the military intelligence people for a while until we can fix this. Because it's obviously, and there's a danger there too. But that's where it all started anyway, with naval intelligence, of course. And so it's time to just, do I trust naval intelligence? I could tell you a funny story about naval intelligence, but I won't do it here because I don't want to get off the fact that this FBI thing is totally blowing up now, as it should. And it should have a long time ago. It absolutely should have a long time ago. Secret society. No real oversight. Can you believe? Now, we all know how this is going to end. Not only did they spy to try to subvert the constitutional republic of the United States, to perform a coup against the elected president, the president-elect, and then the elected president. And not just behind the scenes. They've been pushing for assassination, for Trump to be killed, you know. And again, I want to point out, the CIA and the FBI, it's all the same thing. And I've done some information on that on my videos. You really can't separate them. As a matter of fact, you can look at Mueller. Mueller is largely responsible for the CIA being infiltrated into the FBI. Actually, not even infiltrated. The whole thing fused into one part of the IC, the intelligence community. So these secret societies are a danger. They not only had the coup, but they had these guys talking about killing the president. Philip Mudd, for instance. Why he's not in jail, I don't know. President Trump had to basically go over to the DOD or into the war room or something during that whole thing with the fake news awards. A lot of other things were going on there, ladies and gentlemen, a lot. Do I know for certain about all of these arrests and indictments? Well, I know that there are indictments, but exactly who it is and what's going on, I don't know that. But as Tracy Bean said, and I read it yesterday, there are things going on behind the scenes. There's no doubt that there is a real, physical civil war in the United States. As I predicted many years ago, there was a war in the government. The Boston bombing was one of the first shots of that war in the government. I mean, it's been there all along, the JFK assassination and all those other things, but we saw it starting to come out and really affect the public in the Boston bombing thing, and of course 9/11. We can't keep these secret societies, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot be a constitutional republic based on, and I got to be careful here, the idea of freedom and liberty, and keep these supposed secret societies that are a law unto themselves. We can't do it. And if we must have them for our security to protect us from enemies, they need to be tightly controlled by Congress, by oversight, or this kind of thing happens, right? President Trump has been endangered by these people, not just his administration, the ability to carry out his duties, but he's been threatened with death, assassination. Now, as I said, I think I said when I first started this morning, you know, I haven't checked the news this morning, but my understanding is that he was going to go to Davos for a very good reason, not to be a part of them, but to tell them the writing on the wall. Man, I have a lot of respect for this guy. And we don't agree, but I don't have to call him names, you know, because I don't agree with him. No, he's unbelievable. And I brought up the tarot cards here last time, or not last time, but several videos ago, where the elites, he really convinced them that he was part of their. They didn't trust him because they don't trust. There is no honor among thieves. So they're always a lot of this power struggle is between the elites themselves, but they thought they had Trump pretty much in their pocket, and he was a sleeper for the good side for a change. And I think that's pretty obvious. But getting back to Davos, I said it was over a year ago that at Davos, the Chinese president said that he would get Trump back into the New World Order, force the U.S. back into the New World Order. And Trump kind of worked with the president of China there for a while, but I think it's obvious now that they're at odds with each other, as it would be, because China is part of the New World Order, part of the the whole thing with the Rothschilds and the Bushes and all that. The CIA, certainly, North Korea is the fantasy land for the CIA, what they would like to see the whole world to be. But anyway, that happened to Davos a year ago, and then Trump was going to go and basically put the writing on the wall to these elitist. I want to call them a name, but I'll just say those people that think that they should be the ones that run the world, those inbred, mentally deficient, intellectually challenged, sociopathic. I guess I am calling them names, aren't I? People that control the banking system, the world's money. So he was going to lay the law on them, I think. But why didn't he go? Well, I don't know that anything has happened in the MSM. Like I said, I haven't checked any more news today, but I understand that there were some assassination threats that were made against him. And I wouldn't doubt that that would be the case. When he's away where he can't be... I mean, the Secret Service and the military can do a good job, but there's always these infiltrators. I mean, look at the situation with Bannon. So there are some problems there, and I think he made the right decision not to go. He can tell them off from across the pond, right? He can be across the pond over here and tell them off, and that'll work just fine. So, and you can bet, the secret societies which the FBI is a part of, and the CIA and the Defense or the Director for National Intelligence, although Coates, I think, is doing a good job. I think he's for real. But all of this needs to be totally taken apart. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be like a heart transplant. You know how they do a heart transplant? They actually have to take the heart out, right? And then put the new one, whether it's artificial or a transplant from somebody else, in. So there's a time there when it's a real danger. But I don't see any other way around it. I really don't. And I've called for the military to take out the IC, especially the CIA, which would then equal, of course, the FBI at the same time. There are no good agents in the FBI. I'm done with that. The only way we're going to tell if they're good agents is if they abide their oath of office and don't obey these orders of these cronies that run the organization, that run the Bureau. Prove you're good guys. FBI agents, prove you're good. All right? And I don't think you will. I think that paycheck means more to you. Oh yeah, you'll go out and you'll get MS-13. You'll get the criminals that are doing the banking fraud, not the ones at the top like Hillary Clinton. Of course, you won't go after her, or maybe you are now because that's okay now. But it was okay before. You just refused to do it, or believe that your bosses, were the guys. When you obey your boss, I actually had a police officer tell me this once, and I was a police officer, and it pissed me off. He said, "The Constitution is whatever my commander says it is." Well, the Nazis, that's what they were saying. They only obeyed orders. And we've heard this argument for a long time. But it's really time to change the Bureau. It's time to change it. It's time to whack it down to size. Get rid of everybody in there. Sorry, FBI agents, if you lose your pension. I'm sure they'll accommodate you somehow. But we can't trust any of you until you're vetted. And that's going to be a big job. It's like I said, it's going to be like taking a heart out of a body and putting a new one in. No, I don't trust any of you. I have a relative who's an FBI agent. Didn't know that, did you? Now, I haven't talked to him in a long, long time. Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated. They'd kill Trump today if they could. And I'm sure there are plans to do just that. So the shooting war inside the government could still happen, ladies and gentlemen. It could happen anytime. Again, the motto on my channel, we have to get rid of these secret societies, and there has to be proper oversight. The Congress has to stop giving them carte blanche to do anything they want, from surveillance, from parallel construction to, well, everything. Lying to us with NDAA 13, 14, funding them to lie to us. Operation Mockingbird it's just the evolution of the Operation Mockingbird, and our Congress allowed them to do that. Well, the funny thing about it, of course, is now that apparatus that all those elitists, all those politicians, all those secret societies put in place to control us, to take away our perfect law of our ability to exercise the perfect law of liberty. They want to take that away from us, just like the scriptures say, hey, the pit you dug for others, you will fall in yourselves. And Trump has done that to them. Absolutely. Do I like that? I still don't like it, because it's going against the principle. But it's like I said in one of my videos. It's like a sapper taking the claymore mines that the enemy has put up to kill you, and you turn them around in secret and use them against them. In war, I guess we have to do it. And it's sad, because it's still going to damage our constitutional republic, what's left of it. But I don't see any other way. Trump has to go after him as if it's a war. It really is at that time. And I think we have to see that. Now, a lot of good people are saying that they don't believe it's going to happen even now. And that's why I read that thing from Tracy Beans yesterday. It's on the fence with me. You know, I'm not sure. It's a big job, and I'm not sure it can be done. But I don't think that we will survive if we don't remove this cancer, this evil from in our midst as best we can, and make sure that we have leaders that are willing to do it. Look at that. Look at that sorry Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Andrew McCabe and James Comey and Eric Holder and Barack Obama and Valerie Jarrett. Can you believe we could just we could continue naming names all day long. Tracy Beans was right. Those of us who have seen this have been waiting for a long time and warning for a long time. And now's the opportunity. We better not fail, ladies and gentlemen. We better stay loud. We better be involved in some way, shape, or form. Not sitting at home watching TV or looking at the screen of our favorite, web enjoyment, or whatever we use to pass the time. We need to be active. Everybody needs to relax every once in a while. I was doing that today. I didn't even check the news this morning. But we still have to do things, to stay awake. We need to do that. All right, let me see if there's any other thing I can pontificate about here. I feel bad I'm doing this live stream this morning because so many of the really good people do it now, like Jordan Sather and Isaac. Well, Isaac Green will do it all the time. He'll do these little short bursts, which is really smart. He'll make a real quick comment. I tried to do that, but I'm too verbose. I like to go on and bring too many things in. That shows you the brilliance of Isaac Green compared to somebody like me. But, it's all good, I guess. We all have our different ways of doing things, and we'll reach different people because of that, I suppose. So that's probably a good thing. All right, well, I guess I wouldn't be very kind if I didn't take a few comments here. I'm using my phone, and I've got a pretty good connection, it looks like. It's holding up. I have tried to do an upgrade, but it doesn't look like it's going to work on my PC yet. I might try to do a live stream with the PC, on the mic, the desk mic and all that in a few days, because they have done some things to try to improve the signal, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's see. FBI threatened physical harm to President Trump and missing FBI test. Yes, yes, that's just proves my point. Now those things haven't been verified yet, but considering all the other circumstantial evidence surrounding this coup that's been going on, that shouldn't surprise anybody. And don't think for a minute that that isn't off the table with the intelligence community. It's still on the table. And I think that they would be willing to kill thousands of people just to get Trump. I do believe that. They're that evil. They're that wicked. They're in bed with Hillary Clinton, probably the most wicked woman on the face of the earth since Jezebel. Matter of fact, maybe she's Jezebel reincarnated. I don't know. Okay, let me see what we got here. I'm going to slow this down. And pardon me for avoiding this for a minute. Yeah, the world is at stake here, Denver. You're right. Evil's in control and has infiltrated everything. We must be willing to make the sacrifices to take it back. Right on, Denver. I agree with that 100%. Does NSA have the text? You know, the NSA gets everything, but there are ways to get around it, okay? Simply by not using electronics. You know, that if they go back, if these secret societies, which I'm sure they're doing, go back to hand-delivered notes, there are dangers in doing that, but they could still be doing it using codes on handwritten things. So it's not a for sure that the NSA has everything. Do they have the text that the FBI says are missing? Yeah, probably. Probably so. But man, you know, this is a tricky time again because these people have assumed so much power. They haven't assumed it. They've confiscated it. They've become the government. They've become the we the people in their minds. That everything has to be the way they demand it, or else the government is going contrary to what it should be. They're demons. That's the definition of democracy, true democracy. That really is. What happened with the ship collision? I'm not sure about that. Like I said, I haven't checked much lately. Most of the ship collisions, the Navy, were probably hacks. Probably very much. We had a Chinese submarine. I'm still convinced that what it was. That's what it was. It was just before or just after the Sandy Hook thing. Back in 2013, that fired a missile out to sea from, I don't know, a few miles off Los Angeles. That was to prove that they were able to infiltrate our defenses. Yeah, you're right. We're all frustrated, Roy Potter, but we can't expect criminals to arrest themselves. Of course not. That's why there has to be a clean out in order to go after them. Or just to dissolve the agencies. Now don't think I'm not aware of how difficult that would be. Of course it would. But drastic times call for drastic measures. And we're really there. To see what the FBI has put up with, the agents themselves, the lower agents knew this. I saw information from FBI agents who knew that the investigations that were being conducted by the FBI on the Clinton Foundation, on the Bundys, on the Hammonds, on me, on everybody who was contrary to the IC doing all these wicked, evil things, and Hillary Clinton doing, and Harry Reid and all these violations of the Constitution were going on. They were doing these investigations, finding out the information that would prove the culpability of people like Clinton, the criminality of people like Clinton and Reid, etc., and taking that information and protecting it so that it didn't get out. So using FBI agents, True Pundit came out with that. They're the ones that actually broke the story. But I knew about it before that. I saw it. I've been talking about that for years. So, yeah, it's use the investigation to be the paid protection racket that it is, to guard the guilty and to finger the innocent. Yeah, that's what the FBI is. Finger, let's see, FBI. I'm trying, the innocent would be the I, right? Finger, well, let's just say it, finger butt the innocent. How's that? That's pretty bad. I'm sorry, but nothing else is coming to mind. Finger but the innocent. That's the FBI. Finger but the innocent. Yeah. Why hasn't anyone been held accountable? Because, and I think that this is probably true. I think Trump realizes this had to be a step-by-step process. To do it all at once, even which I have called for, I wanted him to get active. I wanted him to do something. But the American people wouldn't believe it, and they would think that he was really a Hitler, which is exactly opposite to what he really is. I can't explain it any better than that. I really don't know. Yeah, hashtag Secret Society. Thanks, Phil. Very good. Hashtag Secret Society. That's what the IC is. It's not an intelligence to protect us. It's to conquer us. Our own intelligence services are there to conquer us. The FBI being on the forefront because it and the CIA are one and the same. Oh, good. A Deception Bites is the name. Neon Flux, Deception Bites. Everybody, you can go to see Deception Bites. Okay, Vindication. Yeah, we have been vindicated. I had a a lot of my friends, as you all know, they've been at odds with me on these things for a long time. I've had good relationships turn sour. Matter of fact, I just had one the other day because of my support of Trump, and most of all because of my activity in trying to expose the evil. Even good Americans don't want to talk about it. They can't believe it. They call you tinfoil hat, or your lifestyle is too weird for me. Whatever. Gee, I wonder how George Washington found, or Thomas Jefferson, or Jesus Christ himself. When you get in a position like that and you start seeing everybody start, floating away, you kind of understand what these great men went through, and there were women too. That usually doesn't stop us. It might disappoint us for a while, but we usually get back in the saddle. But yeah, it is a form of vindication. It is coming out. I just pray that it continues. And I give God the credit on this. It really is Him sending His Spirit out. And, it's filling a lot of us up, giving us the spirit of discernment, the gift of discernment. And there are those who accept it and those who reject it. But that's just going to be the way it is. It's not going to convert. It's not going to reassure everybody. It's not going to convert everybody. It'll do just the opposite on the evil side. It'll convince them to be even more evil because they hate it so much. Okay? About the dumb in Alaska. Thank you for bringing that up. I can't really address that, but I did want to address something that goes along with my video from yesterday about this whole thing with the nano and the wetware and all of that I talked about. I can't get into this in too much depth because I've been asked not to, but that situation with the QRS on airplanes is indicative of some really, really horrible stuff from high-level people in our government and, again, the intelligence community. Let me see how I can say this. You know that there is a thing, Field McConnell has talked about it, the Boeing uninterruptible autopilot. You all have heard about that. If you haven't, go look it up. Boeing uninterruptible autopilot. BUAP. And it goes along with this QRS thing, and Field McConnell has talked about it to some extent, actually quite a bit, of able danger. This is another aspect of this entire nano thing and controlling the Internet of Things and all of that. Not only can they prevent planes from being hijacked, they can also wreck them, obviously. And I have to leave it there. I'm sorry I can't go any further. What about Q, real or fake? Well, I'm not talking about Q anymore. I put up a tweet last night only because the other information surrounding it, it was the Pope kissing this. They claim that it's a Holocaust survivor, but that doesn't matter. There's some other issues there. The Pope knows what he's doing, and he knows the real deal, really what's happening. And so, I think that picture was indicative of part of the cabal. Anyway, I don't want to go there. Q is something I'm not bothering with right now. I'm not saying, again, like I said before, I'm not saying that you can't, you shouldn't. It's just, and there's still a lot of good information. I see it, come out on Twitter and other places, but use it as you see fit. I'm not going to. I'm done with it. Deport Soros, I'd go along with that. Hawaii, dry run perhaps? No. I'm still maintaining it was a live launch. I think all the indications there, and there are other people now that are starting to admit that that's what it was. Just like I said in my YouTube presentation, that it was supposed to be a view to a kill and to cause problems for everyone, including President Trump. Human sacrifice is real, yes. I don't get into it, but it's real. Again, I have to be careful where I go here. The pedophile communities, the satanic communities, the secret society communities do what every community does. They have their own communities, not just acquaintances over a distance, but they actually will build a community and live in it. Are you reading between the lines here? Just like when you have immigrants and the Catholics, coming over, or the Italians, let's say, and they build Italian communities, or that type of thing, or whatever, any kind of ethnic or group or whatever, they'll kind of stick together. They'll build their own communities, not just stay in touch over distance, but actually live close together so they can control the politics, control things. Ladies and gentlemen, the pedophiles, the elitists, the satanic worshipers have all done the same thing. A lot of the incidents over the last few years that have happened that didn't seem to get answers in them, that were covered up, were because those communities are entirely populated with people in the cult, with people in the cabal, with people in the secret societies. They have babies to sacrifice to Moloch, never get a birth certificate for them. Not only are they stealing children and women off the streets from CPS and other things like that, they have babies and then kill them. You think I'm kidding? Do you remember the Alex Jones had a deal where they were out there at a Planned Parenthood protest, and Antifa showed up. Do you remember this? And there was a black woman, and she turned around and because it was David Knight's wife who was asking her, or saying, look, we've adopted kids, we want to help kids. We don't need to abort them. And the black lady turns around, not it's just a black woman, but I'm just going to call it what it is. There are also white people that do this. I don't know about Orientals, but anyway, I don't know of any of that in the Oriental side. But the black woman turns around and says, I kill my kids. I kill them. You don't think the pedophiles, what about the sacred sex? Well, it's not sacred. To them, it's, I think sex is sacred. They look at it, the elitists look at it as a ritual, but for evil purposes, okay? Because you can always turn something good into something bad. That's what righteousness means. I've talked about it before, the right use of something. Or the wrong use is a sin, right? Or wrong. But they have sex and then have these children and then sacrifice them. And sometimes sacrifice the mother too. Yeah, that goes on. So entire communities in our country and around the world are communities populated by pedophiles, by satanic ritual abuse participants, cult members, secret society members. Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't kid yourself. That exists. Okay, let me see. Same demon Jezebel. Yeah, she has the same spirit in her. That's a good point. An update on my homeless project. I thought about that here a while back. I don't know. I'm still giving that some thought, just so that you know. Yeah, Alaskan earthquakes, possible tsunamis. Yeah, all of that. Christopher Ray. I don't know. I'm still waiting for some fruits on that one. Frankly, I haven't seen much from him. Again, it could all be behind the scenes, like with Jeff Sessions, we're told, like Tracy Beans explains. I got to see something. I'm tired of the riddles. I'm tired of the puzzles. I'm tired of what's going on. If I don't see it on the ground, it didn't happen. Um, yeah, nonlinear warfare. Oh, I know a lot about nonlinear warfare, I'm afraid. That's part of the problem. I know too dang much about it. God bless and protect President Trump. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be BP Earthwatch want you to call into the blog show. Oh, I don't check my comments on my YouTube or, it's just I just don't do it. Every once in a while I'll look just real quick, but I don't see it. If he's been contacting me, that's great. Um, okay, thanks for the heads up. I'll try to do that. I've had a few requests from different bloggers, podcasters, etc., to go on their shows. It's not that I'm averse to doing it. I've actually agreed to do it. I used to be, I think I've told you, I've been interviewed by, Phil Donahue, CBS Morning News, on set. I mean, all of that. I've done all of that, so I'm not really much into it. I did a lot of work with a lot of interviews with Pete Santilli and some other radio talk show hosts. But yeah, I'll see. Okay, tell Jesse I'll see about getting a hold of him. Maybe he could send me. I'll tell you the best thing, Jesse, if you're listening. Send me a DM. I'll follow you. I think I'm already following you on Twitter. I think. But I'll send you I'll follow you if I'm not, and send me a DM, and we'll talk about it from there. Okay. I appreciate you, Jesse. Oh, there you are, BP Earthwatch. There you are. Hi, Jesse. Thanks for coming on. Yeah. I should probably look up the number, but like I said, if you'd send me a DM, that would help me to remember, and then I'll know. Okay, but yeah, then we can decide when, what time, what day, all of that. Sure. Thanks for the invitation, Jesse. And I know I'm a different kind of a guy. I know I am. But the experience that we have teaches us a lot of lessons, and I think that was a lot of what I received were lessons, explanations that you can't get unless you actually go through it. I have a very different viewpoint, for instance, as you all know, on the purpose and the manner of relationships between men and women. I'm very much, and I don't mean just in a traditional sense. I mean in what the purpose of it is. That it's not something just for this time and place. That it has an eternal aspect to it, because it really is in the image of God. I really do believe that. So yes, Jesse, I'll try doing that. But if we have if we have probably a place where it's a little rough on the edges between us, I know that's going to be it. You're right. Yeah, but it's good conversation. Thank you, Jesse. I'll okay. So now, okay, this is interesting. See, like I said, I haven't checked the news today. The last I heard was that Trump was not going to go to Davos because of an assassination concern. Now it's Marissa Flanagan here saying that Jesse is reporting that President Trump will be going to Davos. You know, Trump is he's amazing. Uh, I won't say he doesn't have fear because that wouldn't be true, but he has courage. He knows how to stand in the face of things, even if he is feeling fear, and that is the true definition of courage. So apparently that has been changed. He is going to go to Davos. He better be very, very careful. Yeah, Thomas's interview, that was good. I saw that. Okay. All righty. I'm just going to go down here real quick. Yeah, the First Lady is not going. I think that's wise. I think that's very wise. He's got to protect his family right now. They'll do anything they can to get a hold of him. Yeah, Steve Motley. Yes, I've watched a lot of Steve's stuff. I misspelled his name on one of my videos. I think that's pretty common. I wrote down Motley, and obviously it's Motley. And I apologize to Steve for that. It was a mistake. Some people were attacking him as not being a Marine. That he was all this baloney about stolen valor. You know, these people that yell about stolen valor, they don't even know what the. And I know there are veterans organizations out there, and I know that there are all these different special forces that are. And I understand you don't want somebody to be claiming something that they didn't do and take it away from you. But are they really taking it away from you? Are you really that insecure? It's gone before the Supreme Court. That merely stating something isn't in violation of the law. Now, there may have been some recent developments, but man, you strain at a gnat and you swallow a camel. Have you ever heard that, you guys? But first of all, I don't think whoever they were trying to pin here, whatever they were trying to pin on Steve as being a stolen valor guy, first of all, mind your own business, everybody, okay? And second of all, I don't believe it, okay? Steve has no reason to lie about it. Okay? And what is this? I'll tell you, the CIA uses these supposed stolen valor organizations to go after good patriots. I hope you understand that. There was a SEAL, I forget his name right now. I think his first name was Ben. This was back a few years ago. He was actually working with General Boykin. And they came after him. And I'm sure they've even come after Craig Sawyer. So all of those organizations, I don't believe that they really have good intent. What are they protecting? If you've got your medal, you've got your medal. You don't need to denigrate somebody else. By the way, I know for a fact that there are people in the military who have done fantastic things, but because of who they were or who they are, they're not rewarded with medals. They're not awarded with citations. It's a way to get back at them. It's a way to say crap on you when they fully deserve it, and I've seen that happen. Yeah, I don't know about the Navy ship crash again. I haven't looked at the news this morning. And as a matter of fact, and I'm going to close down here. I've been making you guys put up with this for too long. I'm going to go get a new computer today. That's what I'm going to do. That's one reason why I didn't get on the internet this morning and check the news. I think that'll probably help in doing some of the work that I'm planning on doing here shortly. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Scary times, Roy, they stole it. Yes, that's true. What do we do if martial law? Pretty easy. Prep, pray, stay out of the way. That's an old mantra. Yeah, don't get in the way. That's all I can tell you. Defend yourselves, but don't get in the way. My gosh. Let's see. Boy, a lot of this stuff I don't see. You guys have so much information. This is where you're so valuable. You all have so much grand information. I wish I could just, take it all in and understand what's going on. Masonic Temple in D.C. has museum displays commemorating Mormon Masonic FBI agents. Yeah, I don't have a thing against particular religions. Mormons, Masons. The Civil War was a Civil War. The Revolutionary War had its roots in an argument between two Masonic lodges. I don't know if you know that or not, But that a lot of it had to do with that. One that wanted to support the crown, and the types of things that we see today in the secret societies, you know, like with the FBI and the CIA trying to take power. And then you had the other Masonic lodges like that were part of what George Washington was part of, where they wanted to water the tree of liberty, to let it to grow. So I don't go by names. I go by fruits. Okay, what I see them do. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, I think we're done. I just wanted to get this out, visit a little bit, let you know that I'm, you know, I am still at stuff. I don't want to interfere with other live streamers, but I just felt like this morning, because of what had happened with the FBI and all of that's coming out now, and it needs to be a flood against these evil, wicked, the evil, wicked intelligence community. It needs to be a flood. It needs to be totally unveiled. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Jesse, I'll be watching for your message. I'll try to get, I'm sure I could go get your phone number off the internet for the blog show, and then we can just come up with a time. Thank you for the invitation. I so much appreciate it. All right. God bless everybody. God bless the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America. And God bless President Donald Trump. Out here for now.